LA Theatre Works presents The Murder on the Links by Agatha Christie, adapted from the novel by Kate McAll, directed by Annalise Erikson, starring Edita Brichta, Kevin Daniels, Simon Helberg, Adhir Kalyan, Alfred Molina, Darren Richardson, Jocelyn Town, Joanne Whalley, and Matthew Wolfe. In this original LA Theatre Works commission, Detective Hercule Poirot receives an urgent letter from Paul Renauld summoning him to France. When he arrives, Poirot and his companion Hastings find they are too late. And to complicate matters, certain facts just don't add up. And now, The Murder on the Links, produced by LA Theatre Works.
It was a fine summer's day, and I was returning from Paris on the morning service to London. I was deep in thought as the train was pulling out, at which point a young woman, the only other person in the compartment, jumped up from a seat and let down the window.
Oh, hell!
I looked up into a pretty, impudent face, topped by a red hat. I judged that she was little more than 17, but her face was covered with powder, and her lips were quite impossibly scarlet.
I do apologize for my language. Most unladylike and all that. But I've lost my sister.
Really? How unfortunate.
Oh, dear. You disapprove. I am crushed. I shall be quiet.
And with a flourish, she disappeared behind a large French newspaper. A minute or two later, I saw two blue eyes peeping at me over the top.
There. I knew you weren't such a mutt as you looked. You gave me such a disapproving glare, I never thought we could be friends.
Oh, we can. Though I'm not sure I care for being called a mutt. Tell me something about yourself.
Oh, I'm in the theatre. My sister and I do a song and dance act. How about you?
I'm a private secretary to a member of Parliament.
My, that sounds important.
Not really. It's rather boring, actually. There's hardly anything to do. Fortunately, I share lodgings in London with a very interesting man.
Oh?
He's a former policeman from Belgium, now working as a private detective. He's terribly good at it. Time and again he has proved to be right, where the official police have failed. Sometimes he lets me help out.
How thrilling. I just adore crime.
Do you remember the Styles case?
Was that the old lady who was poisoned somewhere down in Essex?
That's it. Well, that was Hercule Poirot's first big case. If it hadn't been for him, the murderer would have escaped scot-free. It was a most wonderful bit of detective work.
Do tell me all about it.
The girl listened, spellbound, as I told her the story, and we became so absorbed in each other that the train drew into Calais station before we realized it.
Well, I suppose it's goodbye.
What about the boat? Won't I see you on the Channel crossing?
I might not be on it. I've got to find my sister first.
But we'll meet again, surely. I do hope we will.
I don't think so. You've been very kind to me on the journey, especially after I cheeked you as I did. But what your face expressed first thing is quite true. I'm not your kind. And that brings trouble, as I know well enough.
Wait! Aren't you even going to tell me your name?
It's Cinderella. Goodbye.
My dear Captain Hastings, you are the hopeless romantic, are you not?
It was 9:15 the following morning, and my friend had just finished his second boiled egg.
You cannot stop talking about this young lady, and yet you do not even know her real name. Pardon, but your tie, it's not symmetrical. Permit that I rearrange him?
Hercule Poirot was an extraordinary little man. Height, 5 feet 4 inches, an egg-shaped head carried a little to one side, stiff military moustache, and piercing green eyes. For neatness of any kind, he had an absolute passion. To see an ornament set crooked, or a speck of dust, or a slight disarray in one's attire, was torture to the little man until he could ease his feelings by remedying the matter.
There. Now, would you be so kind as to pass me the post?
Are you expecting something? A new case, perhaps?
No, mon ami. Nothing of interest arrives nowadays. The great criminals of method no longer exist. I am reduced to recovering lost lapdogs for fashionable ladies.
Cheer up, old bean. Your luck will change.
A bill. Another bill. And now for the last. Ah. This is from Merlinville-sur-Mer, near Calais.
Sounds interesting.
But read for yourself.
Dear sir, on account of a secret I am in fear of my life. I beg that you will lose no time in crossing to France. I shall probably need your services for a considerable period of time, as it may be necessary for you to go to Santiago. I shall be content for you to name your own fee, yours faithfully, Paul Renauld. There's a postscript, for God's sake, come.
The Continental Express leaves Victoria at 11 o'clock. You will accompany me, n'est-ce pas?
Well, I'm not entirely certain that I can spare the time.
Hastings, you told me yourself that your MP did not need you for the next few weeks. Santiago, eh? There is a well-known South American millionaire called Renault.
He said you could name your fee. I suppose if we succeed, we could make our fortunes.
Do not be too sure of that, my friend. A rich man and his money are not so easily parted. I have seen a well-known millionaire turn out a tram full of people to seek for a dropped penny.
Good point.
In any case, it is not the money which attracts me here. There is something a little unusual in this problem which arouses my interest. You remarked the postscript.
For God's sake, come.
How does it strike you?
Well, clearly he wrote the letter keeping himself well in hand, but at the end, his self-control snapped and he scrawled those 4 desperate words.
No, you are in error, mon ami. Do you not see that while the ink of the signature is nearly black, that of the postscript is quite pale?
I don't understand.
Oh, use the little grey cells, mon ami. Always remember the little grey cells. Monsieur Renauld wrote his letter. Without blotting it, he reread it carefully. Then, not on impulse, but deliberately, he added those last words and then blotted the sheet.
But why?
So that it should produce the effect upon me that it has upon you. To make sure of my coming.
On the crossing, the weather was fine, the channel like a mill pond. A little while later, we set off in the most ramshackle of rented automobiles in the direction of the Villa Geneviève at Merlinville-sur-Mer. We were almost at our destination when we passed a girl who stood with one hand on a garden gate, watching us go by.
Hastings, keep your eyes on the road, for heaven's sake.
Sorry, Poirot. Didn't you see that young goddess?
Already you have seen a goddess. Have you forgotten the young lady on the train? What did I say? An impossible romantic.
But she was one of the most beautiful girls I have ever seen. Surely you noticed her.
Mon ami, 2 people rarely see the same thing. You saw a goddess, I saw only a girl with anxious eyes.
Moments later, we drew up in front of a pair of large gates.
Arrêtez, s'il vous plaît, monsieur.
We have an appointment with Monsieur Renauld. This is his villa, isn't it?
Yes, monsieur, it is, but you cannot enter.
This is Hercule Poirot, the famous detective. Monsieur Renauld sent for him personally.
Then I regret to inform you, monsieur, that Monsieur Renauld was murdered this morning.
Murdered?
Then please, convey my card to whoever is in charge.
You say you have information, Monsieur Poirot, which may assist us?
Monsieur Otey, the magistrate, was a tall, gaunt man with piercing dark eyes and a neatly cut grey beard, which he continually caressed as Poirot explained our presence.
Monsieur Renauld wrote me a letter, begging me to come at once. He was convinced an attempt was going to be made on his life.
He foresaw his own murder?
It would appear so. Obviously, he sent for me too late. At what time was the crime committed?
The body was discovered this morning about 9 o'clock. Madame Renaud's evidence...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?